It's that beautiful time of the year in the NBA. NBA free agency starts tomorrow. Here's what you guys need to know about the latest timeline, dates, and what the Celtics are looking like ahead of tomorrow's big day. So June 30th, which is tomorrow on Sunday, NBA teams can begin talking to free agents starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. July 6th is when NBA teams can actually sign those players to free agent contracts. That is about noon Eastern Time. And then the Celtics are currently well over the second tax apron. So we're going to talk about 4 free agent targets Celtics could possibly target this off season. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and this is my Twitter. Go on ahead and follow me on Twitter. I am about 15 followers away from reaching 1,100 followers. Thank you guys so much. As you can see, I post live stream links. I post the latest news. Peyton Pritchard just got selected for NBA 2024 teams, all-select team for the USA Olympics. And, of course, there are a lot of free agent signings that are going to happen starting tomorrow. Go on ahead, follow me on Twitter at ARBarefoot. All right, let's talk about the second tax apron, shall we? Because if you guys are like me, I am terrible at math. I don't even do my own taxes, all right? My mom does it for me. I'm 25 years old. Leave me alone. But here's what happens if Boston does go over that second tax apron, because there's penalties. Teams go over the second apron won't have a taxpayer mid-level exception, commonly used to add veterans at a reasonable cost. They can't participate in the buyout market during the season. They can't aggregate salaries in trades. They can't give cash away in trades. They can't even sign and trade their own players for others. They can't reach into the future to trade picks 7 years away. And if they go over the second apron twice, their first round pick automatically falls to the end of the draft. So Brad Stevens doesn't want to touch any of this. That sounds like a harsh cap on the Boston Celtics to really make any roster moves. Not to mention, Boston already has one of the highest salaries in the NBA. Why? Because winning is expensive. They're looking to bring back 8 players for the Boston Celtics and possibly even adding on more free agents from their team to that roster as well, because why change? You just won the NBA Finals. You're going to tweak, but why change? And here's what Noah Dalzell had to tweet out about what Brad Stevens is really honing in on ahead of free agency, saying that he notes there's not much the team can do as far as signing, but that extending current players is a priority. We'd love to have these guys that are extension eligible as long as we can. They're great. They're awesome. And when you're talking about these extension eligible guys, you got to include Sam Hauser in this mix, O'Shea Brissett, who actually declined his player option, but he could still re-sign with the Celtics. But here's the free agents I'm really looking at here. Luke Kornet, especially with Porzingis' latest injury update, probably won't be ready until December. Xavier Tillman, I think he's old enough. I think he has veteran leadership. He's a mini Al Horford. And you know what? I think he earned a contract in the NBA Finals. Svi Mykhailiuk, not sure. J.D. Davison and Drew Peterson, they've been two-way players here for the Celtics all season long. So they're definitely going to have to really hone in on Tillman and Kornet. That is what they're looking at here. And according to Brian Robb with Mass Live, the Celtics have actually expressed interest in retaining free agent bigs Kornet and Tillman. So Brad may not make huge moves here in free agency. Actually, don't be surprised at all if he does make very slim moves here, because they do have a phenomenal roster with 8 players they can re-sign right now and keep them for the future, or they can dip into those free agents. So here's what I want to ask you guys right now. Name a player you want the Boston Celtics to sign in free agency. There are several players out there. Be realistic, man. We're already paying the highest paid player in the NBA. Tatum could become the next highest paid player in the NBA. They want to extend White. They want to extend Hauser. Be realistic when you're coming to salaries, talking about a free agent you want on the Boston Celtics. Now let's talk about some targets they could be looming here for the Celtics. Daniel Theis, the Los Angeles Clippers center. And you know, whenever I think of Theis, I think of this as like that really toxic ex that just kind of keeps popping back up into your life. He played with the Boston Celtics from 17 to 21. Then he went to Houston. Then he went back to the Boston Celtics in the middle of the 2021-2022 season. So obviously Theis knows the Celtics franchise in and out. He averages about 6.3 points per game with the Clippers last year. He played 60 games, 59 games, 17 minutes per game. averaged about 4 boards, 1 assist, shot 53% from the field, which is not bad for somebody who's just going to pretty much stand in the paint for majority of his time here playing with the Boston Celtics if he were to join this roster. Here's what Brian Robb had to say about Daniel Theis here. The Celtics tried to reunite with him last year when he became a free agent, but then he opted to sign with the Clippers, who had more minutes available. The equation may change now, though, with Boston having plenty of minutes available for at least the first 2 months with Porzingis and potentially beyond at center. Theis still has fans in the front office, so this is a name to keep an eye on. Why not going ahead and re-sign a player that you know has worked out with the franchise before, but they just made different moves where his talents just weren't needed? And now, just like Brian Robb said, you've got Kristaps Porzinigis and his injury looming, and they're thinking a return by December. So why not bring in that big once more on a 1-year deal and see what happens? Another big you guys want to keep an eye on is Andre Drummond. This name has been thrown around free agency for a while now, but he was recently with the Chicago Bulls, and here's what he did. He averaged about 17 minutes per game, and he did score nearly 10 points a game, 8.5, 9 boards though, half an assist, about 1 steal a game, and he shot 57% from the field. Andre Drummond is probably the biggest guy I've ever seen in my life. When I saw him play for the first time in an NBA arena, I mean, he is so big that you think that it's going to sound like doosh, doosh, doosh when he's running up and down the court. He's got the size you want in the paint. Does he shoot free throws well? No. But he does play well against the Boston Celtics when he was playing for the Chicago Bulls. He's a rim protector. He's phenomenal at putbacks. I think that Andre Drummond making about $3.3 million right now, you could sign him for the vet minimum, and you can add some thick width in the paint for the Boston Celtics to use this season. And then again, we're going to move to that wing depth position here. Let's talk about Jrue Holiday, currently playing for the Denver Nuggets, who still keep me awake at night. I still think they are absolutely contenders to keep up with the Celtics in this upcoming season. But here's why I want to target Jrue Holiday, is because he's just going to be your role player coming off the bench. As of right now, they really only use Pritchard and Hauser to fill those roles for Derek White and Jrue Holiday when they need a breather. But if you add Holiday, and yes, we'll talk about that in a minute, 4 points per game, 1.2 boards, 45% from the field, but 40% from a three-point line, I love that. You're looking at a typical 3-and-D wing, 58 games played, about 15 minutes per game, and yes, he is the slightly older brother of Jrue Holiday. If the Antetokounmpos can do it, why can't the Holidays? You bring Justin in, he plays with his brother Jrue, and even better yet, he can actually provide some help here for Jrue, for that backcourt, and specifically defending the wing position. He's a solid 3-and-D player off the bench. He's not going to be a starter. He would probably sign a vet minimum. Right now, he's 35 years old, making about $3 million in the NBA anyways, and he can play with his brother. I think Brad Stevens would like this storyline a lot. He would also like Gordon Hayward to come back to the Boston Celtics. And believe it or not, I highly suspect that Hayward is going to be taking a huge salary cut this year. Why? Because as of right now, he's about a $30 million player, but he is not playing like a $30 million player. He's in his 30s. He's kind of getting washed up to that point, and he's just looking like he could be another vet minimum guy on a team that could win a ring, hence the Boston Celtics. Andy Bailey of the Bleacher Report said, going from a high-value player to one on a minimum contract can happen fast in the NBA, and Hayward may have reached that point this season. He turns 34 this month and is averaging just 4.5 points since being traded to the OKC Thunder. For Boston, he could fill a role of a veteran wing while being younger than some options out there and bringing some experience as a volume scorer. We know Hayward's already played for the Celtics once before. We know that he's been moving around a little bit. He was with the Charlotte Hornets, and he got traded to the OKC Thunder when the NBA trade deadline did happen, and then he just didn't really do anything for the Thunder. I don't blame him. There are a lot of role players, a lot of stars on the Thunder team. So if he's looking for a vet minimum and he's looking for something under $5 million, I could see Brad Stevens at least giving this guy a call for kind of the same reasons here as Daniel Theis. He knows the system. He's looking to make some money, and he's looking to win a ring. So with that being said, those are just 4 options the Boston Celtics could go with here in free agency, which does start tomorrow. So now you guys pick one to sign out of these 4. Type DT for Daniel Theis, AD for Andre Drummond, JH for Jrue Holiday, GH for Gordon Hayward. As always, go on ahead and follow me on Twitter. I am so close to 1,100 followers on Twitter, and that's thanks to you guys. I tweet everything you guys need to know about the Boston Celtics. Go on ahead, hit that follow button for me, and as always, subscribe to Celtics Today by Chat Sports.